Halloween Kills is the newest film in the Halloween franchise and the third, canonically speaking, after the 2018 movie essentially reset the entire thing and made that the direct sequel to the 78 original. And this movie takes place on the exact same night as the 2018 one. Laurie, Allison, and Karen Strode got away on a truck at the end of that movie as the house burned down with Michael inside of it. But the first rule of horror is unless you see a body, nothing happened. And so Michael gets out and he goes on a killing spree once again. But this time the people of Haddonfield come together because they've had enough, and so a mob comes together to kill him once and for all. I was actually excited for this movie. I really liked the 2018 one, even though I have my issues with it. Certain things about it just did not work too well, and there were some tonal imbalances. And of course, the 78 original is great, but I was very interested in seeing where they would take the story from here because 2018 felt like a definitive end. The best way I can describe Halloween Kills is like if you were trying to make a fruit smoothie, but at the same time you threw in other ingredients that don't quite go along with it. But there are aspects of it that do work in terms of like you get some of the fruity goodness, but sometimes you get some other stuff which is not quite gelling with the fruit tastes. Like, it's a mess. It's a mess. This movie is very scattered. Let me start with the positives. I think the concepts and themes that are brought up in this movie are very interesting, especially when it comes to the mob aspect of it. There is obviously a mob mentality commentary in here, and you see that play out in significant moments of the movie. And I think it does a pretty good job of exploring that side of it. Although I think the film could have done a little bit more, and it does end up feeling a bit surface level. But I did like the fact that the film was tackling those things and trying to be something different than your average slasher movie, while also being a slasher movie. In fact, if you're a Halloween fan and if you just wanted to see Michael Myers go apeshit and just kill a lot of people, this is probably going to be your favorite movie of the year because that's exactly what happens in this for a long time. The film lives up to the title, Halloween Kills. He very much does do a lot of kills. There are a lot of bodies by the time you're done with this movie. And the film definitely goes more visceral in those moments. Some of it is a bit too gratuitous, but I think those were the more entertaining parts of it. And since that is a sizable enough chunk of the movie, I think you can find yourself being entertained for quite a long time. The musical score is also another highlight of this movie. John and Cody Carpenter, along with Daniel Davis, do an excellent job of making the score a lot more modernized and in ways even better than their last work. Like, this is one of their best scores in years, and I was really amazed by what I was listening to. But where I keep coming back to is this movie's imbalance and inconsistency because it's just so scattered, because it really can't figure out what it wants to be at a specific moment in time. It keeps going back and forth between a mob mentality movie to a movie where Michael's just killing folks, to generational trauma with characters who are talking about how the events of these decades ever since Michael first appeared have affected them. And there are some really good scenes you get out of that, and a character monologue very early on in the beginning that I found to be really cool. But essentially, when the film is going back and forth on these things constantly and can't seem to focus on one of them at the specific moment that they're taking place in, the film becomes a bit of a mess. And I just couldn't find myself then enjoying it as much because I just kept trying to figure out what to hone in on and what to care about the most. Let's talk about Laurie Strode in this movie. The marketing has her front and center and essentially paints her as the one who's bringing this mob together. No, she's not. Anthony Michael Hall is at the real helm of these things. He's the one who's really carrying this forward. Laurie, for the most part, is in the hospital. She was stabbed at the end of the 2018 movie. She's injured, and so for the most part of the movie, pretty much entirely, she's there. One location, and that's it. But my biggest issue with the film wasn't all of those things. It was something else. It was how much the film is trying to explain Michael in those flashbacks and certain moments like that. And one thing towards the finale of the film, it tries to give you a lot of explanations regarding how he started off and what he has become as a result of it and what he could be. I'm not sure if I like that because I don't like the concept of the shape sort of being explained. It makes him seem less mysterious, and suddenly I don't really feel like he's much of a threat after a while because the film up till now has been treating him as such. And there are moments where certain other things happen that really take away from the mystique of Michael Myers, especially one thing which I feel like is going to divide fans. Some people might really, really like that. Some people might not like it at all. I'm not really sure how to feel about that either. Like I said, this movie's so conflicting. Like, you can't really say one thing is like, yep, undisputed, that's great. Aside from, like I said, the musical score. But you can listen to that as an album on its own regard without having to see the movie. This, while you're watching it, there's just so many clashing things. It's like, it wants to be a very ambitious and a very unique sequel, but it ends up also being one that is very undercooked and underdeveloped, and it doesn't really have much of a payoff after a while. You just sort of end up with, this is great, but that's not great at the same time. This was good, also at the same time, this doesn't work. And it just sort of becomes a rinse repeat. Kind of like how I've repeated myself a couple of times with that same point in this very review. So did I like Halloween Kills at the end? No. But did I dislike it? No. I'm just kind of in the middle. I'm just overall a bit disappointed. It's alright. Like I said, things which I liked, I really, really liked. But then, I just wish they stuck the landing on those things. However, like I said, if you're somebody who's just looking for slasher, gore, violence, and just expecting like relentless carnage, then yeah, this is the movie for you. You're gonna love this thing, and more power to you. I'm gonna give Halloween Kills a 5.5 out of 10. It's out in theaters now, you can go check it out, but it's also streaming on Peacock at home, so you have multiple options to explore. Definitely let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Look forward to more reviews very soon. As always, if you like this, please do subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the movies.